Hello and welcome to the 2019 Sage Goddess Imbolc Ceremony. This is one of my favorite days of the year, by the way, and I hope you can feel it. The energy is in the room. It's electric almost. We are halfway between winter and spring. And so I'm a double fire sign, Leo Sun, Sag Moon. I'm an August-born Leo. I like my warm days and my long nights, or my short nights, I should say, and my warm days. And so I am so excited, and I'm sure a lot of you are too, to be sort of beginning to close the door on winter and beginning to open that door to growth and possibility and expansion and all of the beautiful energies that await us in the growth season ahead. Imbolc means in the belly, and the name of this holiday comes from the reality that at this time of year, most of nature is pregnant. Most of nature that will be pregnant is pregnant. I was also pregnant for both of the years that I was gestating with my children. I was always pregnant at Imbolc too. My kids were both born in March, not planned that way at all. But I always felt like I was really deeply aligned with the cycles of nature. And what's beautiful and magical about tonight too is you have to think about the fact that we're in the northern hemisphere. In the southern hemisphere, we are greeting the sun at Imbolc. In the southern hemisphere, their turn is a turn toward the shadow, right? And so as we get ready for the growth season in the southern hemisphere, my brothers and sisters, you guys are turning more within now. And just beginning to turn toward that season of darkness and rest. And so we are on the other side of the world, but we're also anchoring those energies together. And so thank you to those of you who are also joining, who are turning the wheel in a different direction tonight. We see you and honor that medicine too. So the guest of honor tonight in our ceremony, as it always is with Imbolc, is Brigid. And Brigid, this is our 2019 rendition of Brigid. Beautiful art by Gabriel here on our Sage Goddess design team. And we chose to really focus on where her light is coming from. And so we called this set the Great Return. It's the Great Return not just to the sun, obviously, that's what's happening in nature, but it's the Great Return to your intuition, to your purpose, to your awakening. And so I want to read to you the mantra or the prayer that came on your art piece in case you don't have the art, because I think it will help to create more resonance with you around the real true meaning of what Imbolc represents. Like I said, midway point to spring, the return of the sun, and the deep tending of what's in your belly right now. Because your gestation is almost complete, and in just a few weeks, it's go time, right? Spring season, spring equinox is when the doors fly open, and that is when you are challenged, tasked with bringing your soul's greater purpose for being here into the world, manifesting your intentions and materializing them. So the prayer says, Brigid, Goddess Queen, you summon the sun with your breath and bring all of us back to the warmth of our inner flame. You remind us that life always wins and love always prevails. We honor you at this midway point between winter and spring and welcome your warm embrace. Amen, aho, and so it is. And so we are working with our Brigid candle this evening. This one is mine. We are working with our perfume this evening, which is Awaken. Hope you loved Awaken. Cedarwood, bay laurel, and benzoin. Cedarwood is about cleansing, which is really important. Cleansing and grounding this time of year as we prepare for the growth season. Bay laurel ensures that all of your ventures are successful. I'm sure you know that. Of course, bay laurel is a crown of bay laurel leaves is placed upon those who win competitions and contests. It's thought to be the herb of success and winning, and so that had to be there too. And then your benzoin, which is for prosperity, among other things. Benzoin helps to manifest intentions in material form. And so what better oil to include in a blend than that? And then we have 3 stones that we're working with tonight. One of them is really rare, which is scheelite. This is what scheelite looks like. Isn't it beautiful? This is scheelite. This represents the sun in your kit. Scheelite is a stone of manifestation, freedom, expansion, and breaking chains. This is the stone of creating a new paradigm. So what a powerful stone to use as we step forward and start to anticipate the energy of spring. If you are going to do something different this year, try something new, at school or in your business or in your relationships, you are well supported in that work, and scheelite is your stone. Then you have tumbled shungite, One of my favorite stones of all time. Very powerful filtering stone. So shungite is going to make sure that the pathway to your transformation this spring is clear. It has a little bit of Ganesha energy to it. It removes energies and obstacles that could clutter your path or or distract you from your purpose. And so in this set, the shungite represents you, the scheelite represents the sun, and then the aventurine represents Brigid, which is all luck and growth and possibility. This is the stone that represents new growth, new life, fertility, expansion. And it also represents pregnancy in a certain way. And I don't just mean pregnancy with a human life. I mean pregnancy of spirit, right? When you just feel like, oh, there's all this goodness around me and all of this possibility. And I could go this way and I could go that way, or I could do this or that. And, that's the energy of Imbolc and of Brigid. It's overwhelming you with possibilities to let you play a little bit with what is possible in your life. And then if you allow that period of creativity and expansion and experimentation and exploration, then when you do finally make a decision, when you do finally make progress, it's going to be in the right direction. So this represents Brigid and her energy in our ritual this evening. You received in your set as well a little white sage besom as a gift. We took beautiful spring-colored sari ribbon and wrapped it around a sprig of our beautiful organic white sage. And so I'm going to light that just to clear the energies, help call you into present time as well. There's nothing like white sage, Salvia apiana. It's the Latin name, and it clears and purifies, sanctifies, consecrates, blesses as it goes, truly. So, and just imagine, as I'm smudging right now for all of us, just imagine releasing into that smoke anything that isn't serving you at this time, anything that's distracting you, anything that's causing you anxiety or worry. When you're in this space of play and expansion and exploration like Imbolc, you don't want to bring worry there. It's almost like check that at the door. That's why I smudged really good just now, because check all that. There'll be time for fear. There'll be time for anxiety if you want to experience those things. Or not, if you choose not to. Fear is always a choice. And I always say choose love instead. Right? It's very hard for love and fear to coexist. So if you're going to choose one, choose the more powerful. Love is always more powerful than fear. Cue siren, right? We always have a siren come through at a time when the message or the medicine is especially profound. Ooh, I'm just sending love to them on their path. Okay, so I'm going to open a circle for us, since we are doing ceremony today. We are calling in Brigid's blessings for your great return. Your great return to joy, your great return to peace, your great return to optimism, your great return to happiness. If you want to return to a time, to a space in your life where you felt all of those things, that is your choice, and I hope you choose it today. I'm opening the doorway with you. All you have to do is step through and just trust and believe that this is the right time for you to experience and create all that you desire. Our white sage is going over here. It feels so good just to be in the pathway of that medicine. There's a reason that Sage Goddess started with white sage. It is still my favorite plant medicine. Probably will always be. And so I want you to roll your shoulders back. You can put your hands on your knees with your palms facing up. Get into that nice receptive position for energy work. Just letting the energy flow through this evening. I want you to imagine that out of your left hand extends a beautiful white beam of light, about 4 to 6 inches in diameter. Give that beam of light a texture and a temperature. Start to feel your hands get kind of warm and tingly. Imagine that beam of light extending, wrapping, moving clockwise all the way around the circle this evening. Everyone who's gathered now and everyone who will watch later. Imbolc is such a beautiful time, right? Representing that gestation, representing that pregnancy, representing the what is coming, but what does not yet have form. This is the space of hope, Imbolc. It's trusting in the process. It's such a beautiful energy that we're all holding together this evening. And it feels like spring, doesn't it? It feels like optimism and possibility and joy. Maybe that's because the spring aligns with the direction of east, which is the direction of dawn and the rising of the sun. And so it literally physically represents all of those qualities as well. Element of air, lots of movement and spaciousness, so much what we need right now. And so Guardians of the East, we greet you here on this Imbolc day, evening, to thank you for your return, to thank you for the optimism and the joy that springtime represents, to thank you for opening the door to the sun and allowing us to celebrate the sun's return today with Brigid. We thank you for the spaciousness. We thank you for the breath of life. And we ask that you help us move gracefully through the season ahead. We welcome you into our circle this evening. And Guardians of the South, we greet you as well tonight. Brigid is a fire goddess, and we are really thinking about that fire in the belly tonight. All of our desires and all of the power and all of the potential that's stored within us right now that in just a few weeks we'll be bringing forward into the material world, into the physical world. So Guardians of the South, bring us the courage and the stamina and the energy we need to greet our purpose with confidence this spring. We welcome you into ceremony this evening. And Guardians of the West, help us to surrender tonight anything from last year, anything from this winter that doesn't need to walk through this early spring portal with us this evening. Help us to pack lightly, Guardians of the West. Help us to shed and release and surrender our sadness, our sorrow, our grieving, so that we're unencumbered as we enter this new space, this new season, this new time in our wheel. We welcome you into the space this evening. And Guardians of the North, help us to remember how supported we are. Help us to ground and integrate what we've learned so we can bring that wisdom forward and embody it in the spring season ahead. We welcome you as well into the space this evening. And Guardians of the Upper World, Guardians of the Star Gateways, the Akashic Records, we ask that you show us tonight, give us the wisdom we need from those Akashic Records and the Cosmic Library, records of what was, what is, and what has yet to become. And help us to understand what part of our soul's path and purpose is manifesting now. What part of the broader work of our life is going to happen in the growth season ahead. Give us a preview, a foreshadowing this evening, so that we know what signs to look out for in the weeks and months to come. We welcome you into this space as well this evening. And then Guardians of the Middle World, the here and now, the Guardians of what is, we welcome you into ceremony space this evening too. Help us to support not only ourselves and our desires and wishes in this season and this year ahead, but help us also to be good stewards and good friends and good sources of support and love for our brothers and sisters who are also walking this medicine path, who are also exploring and discovering ways to bring their soul gifts forward too. Teach us how to be in service and how to stand in community and tend the fire, not just individually, but tend the collective fire as well. We welcome you into the space this evening. And then Guardians of the Lower World, the crystalline matrix, the ley lines and vortex points, places of deep magic across this planet, as well as the bones of the ancestors. We ask for your support, wisdom, and guidance this evening. Guardians of the Lower World, help us to plug in to that dramatic power source, that never-ending power source embodied within our crystals, represented by ancestral bones and lineages. Help us to remember that we walk on top of and alongside these incredible sources of memory and wisdom and power and strength, and help us to be able to fuel ourselves from those places, those reservoirs of energy, as a constant source of replenishment for ourselves in this lifetime. we welcome you into the space as well. Aho. Woo, that felt good, didn't it? Our circle is held. The space is open. We are ready for some beautiful magic this evening, all about you and what is going to be becoming for you and honestly manifesting through you in the season of the Great Return. So let's go ahead and light our candle. When we do, we invoke the element of fire, which brings all of those energies of strength and transformation and possibility. And then I'm going to anoint with the awaken perfume, as we always do. Anointing brings in the element of water. And so a little bit at my third eye for what I know, a little bit at my wrist for what I do, and then just a touch at my ankles for where I go. Blessing my steps in the season ahead. Feels good, doesn't it? I'm going to take what's left on my finger and just anoint my crystals as well. Again, recognizing that in your kit, the she light represents Brigid. So sending blessings to Brigid, asking for blessings from Brigid. The shungite represents you, so anointing there, awakening you and allowing you to be awakened, right? That's what the perfume is about. And then anointing the aventurine, which represents your potential. And also represents Brigid herself. And so awakening Brigid and awakening her blessings as well in your life. Beautiful medicine of the sun, of you, and then of Brigid as well. Okay, so roll your shoulders again, call your energy back into present time. And I want you to envision yourself this evening in the middle of a beautiful field, expansive field. Maybe there's tall grass in this field, and it's midday. The sun is right above you, and you can feel the warmth of the sun on your shoulders. You can feel the warmth on your arms and on top of your hands. And let that power, the beauty of that sun as you stand in this open field, in this wide open space. I want you to imagine being able to stretch your arms out, feel your wingspan tonight. I want you to feel that solar energy in your body, feel it in your spirit. Imagine that solar energy coming down through your crown chakra, bathing your third eye. Again, illuminating. Think of the art in the kit, right? This is Brigid herself. It's the power of the sun illuminating the power of her intuition. It's the merging of the light from above with the light within. And then imagine that sun continuing over to your throat chakra, illuminating your truth, over your heart chakra, illuminating pathways to love for you, down over your solar plexus, illuminating your own power and possibility and potential, illuminating the sacral chakra, illuminating your passion, your creativity, lighting you up, asking you what brings joy and passion into your life, and then allowing that solar energy to push down through your root chakra, illuminating all the ways in your life in which you are held and safe and secure, the things that you can have deep faith and trust in, and then anchoring you down into the center of the earth through that earth star chakra, connecting the earth or the sun with the earth. And allowing yourself to be the conduit of that energy. This is how we open our energy channels. You hear me talk about that a lot, expanding the frequency, right? Your ability to hold and channel and run energy efficiently. Solar energy is a big part of that equation. That's why these tools are so important, because anytime you feel like, I'm feeling pessimistic, or like I can't handle what's happening, or I don't have enough resources, or I don't have any hope, that's when you should take this candle out and light it again. Let it represent Brigid's fuel, Brigid's fire, Brigid's cauldron, Brigid's hearth. She's constantly there tending for you. So you don't have to tend that fire all by yourself. A lot of us think we're out there in the world and we're doing all this stuff by ourselves, and it feels like we're carrying a heavy load, but the reality is you're not doing it alone. And the elements and the archetypes are all very powerful allies to you as you do your beautiful medicine work in the world. Naho. And so I want you to give yourself a little room in this meditation. Again, coming back to that beautiful field that you're standing in. Could be a field from your childhood, could be a field that's, around the corner from where you live today, something familiar to you. And I want you in your mind's eye to give yourself permission right now to play, What does that feel like to you? Does it feel like running from one side of that field to the other? Just arms outstretched, nothing in your way, no obstacles holding you back. Does it feel like laying down in the grass and rolling around and stretching your back like a cat in the sun? Does it feel like going and picking flowers off in one corner of the field? Or maybe you see a beautiful fruit tree that's about to release its first fruits, early fruits of the season, right? So you want to go and pick one of those or gather flowers. This is your field to play in. And what I want you to experience right now is a little bit of that childlike wonder, because that's the energy stream that allows you to wake up. This is what I'm awakening within you. I want you, after this meditation, to go out into the world, and I want you to look at every tree with wonder. I want you to look at every leaf with fascination and appreciation. I want you to look at every person around you as a walking miracle and a reminder to you. Let all these things be reminders to you of what is actually growing and gestating and becoming within you. Because the rest of the world and all of nature is just a mirror of your own potential. And as you're running and playing and gathering flowers and rolling in the grass and stretching your arms out and maybe dancing in the field, I want you to imagine Brigid's presence around you. She comes in many forms. She could be there supporting you, helping you pick the flowers, right? She could be there as a guide for that. She could be there almost in a maternal sense. There's definitely a motherly side to Brigid, watching you like her own child, taking pleasure and delighting in your enjoyment of this moment. I want you to invite Brigid in to be present with you as you're here in this field of possibility in your life. And Brigid, I want to ask that you guide us today. You know that we are summoning something new in our lives. You know that many of us are on the edges of breakthroughs and incredible transformations. And we're so excited, Brigid. We're optimistic. We know there are no accidents. We're all here together doing this ceremony on this day at this time for a reason. And so, Brigid, give us some signs this evening. Show us some images. Offer us a beautiful scent, talisman, or sign or notification. Help us to see what's ahead for us in the growth season. And I want you to take your she light, if you have it. And Brigid, we're going to ask you first for a blessing of the sun upon our lives in this in-between season, this liminal space between winter and spring. Calling in the sun's blessing, calling in expansion and possibility, calling in optimism, calling in direct, linear, focused energies to support all of our dreams, all of our visions, all of our intentions. And Brigid, we're going to ask this evening, please, that you shine those rays of the sun upon us and all that we will create in the growth season ahead. Help us to have the courage and the optimism and the warmth and the direction and the trust that the sun brings as we approach what is coming, what is ahead on our path this year. And we give thanks for your blessing. Such a beautiful message coming through, by the way, that I feel like I should share with you, that if you want to find Brigid, she's in the flowers. She's in those little tight buds that are on your trees right now. It's too cold for some of them to bloom, but she's in there. You know what I mean? She's in those beautiful, tiny new leaves on your trees and on your plants. And even as you're driving home or even as you're walking on your path, every day, start to notice. Those are her little gifts to you. Those are the little breadcrumbs that tell you you're on the right path. And she's there to support you. And then with your shungite, which represents you, Brigid, we're going to ask for a blessing here for each person who's doing this ceremony tonight, or who will do it later, or who did it before this moment. Whenever you're doing it is perfect time. So Brigid, I ask for a blessing upon each person in the growth season ahead. Help to filter out what isn't serving us so that we can move more confidently more intentionally in the direction of our dreams. Help to purify our hearts, help to purify our spirits, help to purify the spaces that we move in. And we give thanks for the blessing upon each of us. And then, with your aventurine, which represents Brigid herself, Brigid, we call in a blessing for you. We call in a blessing for the planet. We call in a blessing for all of those who are tending their own fires but need more optimism, need more courage, need more joy, need more of all of the energies that you bring, the nurturing, the loving, the hope, the expansion, the renewal, the awakening. Let's just all ask for a collective blessing upon all of those who walk on this earth. May they know all the beauty of the season ahead. May they feel the same kind of tingly optimism and excitement that you feel today. May all of our relations feel that. May they know that they too have access to this divine beauty that is the core of what this holiday represents, and that will be soon embodied across the planet as spring unfolds in the northern hemisphere, and then all of us will be able to see the beauty of life emerging. We ask for that blessing upon all our kind. Aho. And so ask yourself in this moment, if you had the blessing of the sun, if you knew that anything you made a wish for right now was going to come to pass in perfect time this year and in perfect alignment, all the variables coming into play, all the dominoes lining up perfectly, the timing perfect, the resources perfect, the energy perfect, your experience of it perfect, right? Because anything spirit creates is perfect. What would that look like for you? Crystallize the vision of what that is for your growth season ahead. What does that look like? And I mean, dream big for a minute here, right? It's a powerful energy around this holiday. What would that look like? Expand it a little bit bigger. Let the sun fill it up. Let the sun make it glow from within. What does it look like? Expand it a little bit bigger. Expand it a little bit bigger. Beyond wildest dreams, crazy imagination. And let it fill up the room that you're in. And then expand it bigger. Let it fill up the city that you're in. Right? Expand it even bigger, because when your dream expands, guess what? So does mine. Every time you fulfill one of your dreams, the rest of us benefit too, because we're all related. Your happiness just means more happiness for everybody else. Your prosperity just means more prosperity for everybody else. So dream a big dream. It's not selfish. It actually creates all these pockets of possibility for everybody else because of the matrix. We're all connected. Your happiness is not separate from mine. That's one of the big lessons of life, I think. And so, Brigid, you see what's on our hearts this year, this Imbolc. You see what's in our bellies, right? Imbolc in the belly. You see what we're gestating. You see what we're putting energy toward, what has yet to become. And Brigid, we ask for your blessing that as we give birth in the weeks ahead, as we deliver what is about to become in our lives, we ask that you bless every step, every unfolding, every becoming, every manifestation. And we give thanks for your passion, for the joy that you bring, for the hope that you represent, and for the fire that you tend with us and for us. Amen, aho. So it is. Sending that energy of all that you desire up to spirit, just letting it fly on wings. And Brigid, we release you from ceremony this evening. So grateful for your presence. Beautiful maternal creatrix who knows exactly what needs to happen and when in order for your biggest dream to manifest in material form. May it be so. May all that you seek come to you in perfect time in alignment with your highest good and the highest good of the collective. And it is done. So it is. Happiest day of the year for me. Hope it is for you as well. Imbolc blessings to you. Truly, truly, truly. I'm so excited because I can feel the energy of what a lot of you are anticipating, and it's beautiful. Those desires, those wishes are placed on your heart for a reason. Precisely so that you will go and manifest them and bring more of what you love onto this planet, which heals not only you and your lineage, but all of us too. So thank you for the work that you are doing. Ooh, hold on to these stones, by the way. These are powerfully charged now with your intention, with your wishes, with the sun's energy, with Brigid's blessing. So keep these somewhere special. Carry them with you if you like all the way through the season ahead. Let them be constant reminders to you of the seeds that you've planted that will take root here now and thrive in beautiful ways. And guardians of the lower world, thank you for letting us plug in this evening down into the matrix of the crystals, down into the ley lines, the vortex points, the energy centers, helping us to channel that energy and use that frequency in service of our growth and our development this year. We release you from the circle. And guardians of the middle world, thank you for our community. Thank you for the ways in which we support and nourish and nurture each other. Thank you for giving us signs and guardians and helpers along our path in the material world, in the middle world, to help keep us on task and focused as we bring our desires and dreams to life this spring. We release you from the circle with gratitude. And guardians of the upper world, guardians of Akashic wisdom, guardians of the star gateways, we thank you for that deeper layer of wisdom, that little premonition or that insight into what is yet to come, to help us understand what to look for, help us to understand what is coming and how we can hold those energies in a beautiful, graceful way. And we release you with gratitude. And guardians of the Northern Gateway, we thank you for your support and your stability, your grounding, the safety that you represent for all of us. We appreciate your guidance. We appreciate the fact that we can anchor into you and rest into you in these final weeks of winter before the work of spring begins. And we release you from the circle this evening. And guardians of the Western Gateway, we thank you for the soul wisdom, for the spiritual nourishment, water energy. We thank you for the tears that we have shed along this path, for they have made us clearer about what we seek. Thank you for helping us to release what no longer serves us now and shouldn't be coming into the growth season, so that we pack lightly as we approach the beauty of the season ahead. We release you from the circle with gratitude. And guardians of the Southern Gateway, we thank you for the courage, the stamina, the playfulness. We thank you for helping us run through the grass and slither like snakes and connect deeply with earth in this meditation, since it really is earth medicine we're celebrating at Imbolc. Thank you for the fire within and helping us learn how to tend that fire, cultivate that fire, so that it burns even through the winter months and keeps us aligned with our path and our purpose. We release you with gratitude from the circle. And then guardians of the East, thank you for allowing us to turn our attention and the great wheel of time toward you. We thank you for the season of spring and the season of growth. We thank you for all of the beauty that is flourishing all around us, even in this moment, and all of the beauty that's yet to come in the season ahead. We thank you for new beginnings, the rising sun, the blessings of dawn. And we release you as well with gratitude from the circle. Aho. I hope you enjoyed our Imbolc ceremony this year, and I hope that you have taken this as a real opportunity to connect into those energy streams. Joy is a decision. Feeling the optimism, feeling the joy, feeling the excitement for what is yet to come in your life is a choice that you make. Choose love, not fear. Choose optimism, not fear. And choose joy, not fear. All of those are the pathways to creation and creativity, and ultimately are the strongest pathways you can walk. Really, the way through your life is to constantly remind yourself, I have a choice and I'm going to choose joy. I have a choice. And that solar energy is all of that joy, that optimism, that curiosity, that expansiveness. The sun is headed back to center sky, my friends, very soon. And may it bless you with all of its energy of direction and optimism and hope. I wish that for you. Imbolc blessings. I will look forward to seeing you soon. Aho.